Do you regularly sit scrolling for hours on your couch? Or do you think about taking a shower, but feel like your body just can't move to get there? Or maybe you procrastinate, even with things that you want to get done for hours at a time. This is what it's like to be in a freeze state. You've probably heard about fight or flight, but freeze is actually a lesser known, less talked about state that's actually really common. When our nervous system senses overwhelming stress, it responds as if we're threatened or as if we're in danger. And a lot of the times it ends up putting us in a shutdown state to cope with what's going on around us. I know for me, I've spent a lot of time in a freeze state, being consistently overwhelmed with stress and under resourced or not being able to deal with it. I ended up feeling overwhelmed and shut down or frozen a lot of the time. I imagine this is the case for a lot of you too. So now I'm going to talk about what it looks like to go into freeze. Mentally, when we're in freeze, we end up feeling dissociated or really simply disconnected. It's almost like we're here, but we're not really here. For me, it felt like I was kind of hovering above myself in what I call a spaceship. Another sign mentally is it feels like we're losing chunks of time. And sometimes we can't remember or recall what we did, maybe that day, maybe a couple weeks ago, maybe a couple years ago. I know for me, I really lack this ability to recall even simple moments in my daily life. Another sign mentally that you're going into freeze is you find yourself wanting to do something simple, like taking a shower, brushing your teeth, but you actually feel like you're locked in place, like you lack motivation to even get up and do the thing. Physically, when we go into freeze, we can look like we're slouched over or hunched. Our body's actually turning inward to protect ourselves, to protect our vulnerable heart space. And then our posture begins to slump forward, kind of mimicking that protection. Physically, we also end up feeling really tired or lethargic. And this is actually our body's way of conserving energy for our survival. It believes that we are in a life or death situation. So, what little energy we have is going to keeping us surviving, meaning we don't have then the energy to motivate, to get up, to do the things that we want to do. In our relationships, freeze can look like feeling isolated or just distance from people, even when we're in the same room as them, or even when we're in a relationship with them. In relationships, it can also look like kind of feeling a state of confliction. On the one hand, we want to connect, but on the other hand, we don't. We're almost at odds within ourselves. Relationally, freeze looks like shutting down really easily, again, becoming completely overwhelmed, especially in conflict. And it often makes it difficult for us to express ourselves, to share what it is that we're thinking, what it is that we're feeling, because we just shut down so easily. Now, a lot of people take these symptoms of freeze to mean that, or begin to think that we're lazy, or that we're procrastinating, or that maybe we're unmotivated, or maybe that all the things that we want to do aren't meant for us. When really, these are all signs that our body is in a freeze state, that our nervous system is trying to protect us, thinking that it's doing the best it can to keep us safe. Now, I imagine a lot of you might be listening, thinking, wow, this sounds a lot like me. And I want you to know that you are not alone. I spent decades of my life locked in this freeze state. And the good news is that we can always begin right now to make small choices to bring our body out of freeze, or to do what I call thaw our body's response, become more connected to what's going on inside of us. So stay tuned, because next week we're going to dive into some actual practices and tools that you can begin to use right now to help yourself thaw from this freeze response. For those of you listening who are in a freeze state or experience freeze states, drop me a comment. I'd love to hear what it looks like for you.